Surely he is going to be gone. Surely his legacy is going to be somewhat mixed. 03444991000. Meanwhile, let's fasten our seatbelts. It can only be Thursday because Dr. Roger Keeval was here, Chief Executive of Fair Money, personal finance and credit expert, and he loves to froth, and he is boiled over. He's boiled over. He joins us now. Roger, good morning.
Good morning, James.
Oh, you couldn't be more frothy if we tried. I mean, you make a cappuccino look flat.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Meanwhile, let's talk about it. As you say, you couldn't make it up. It's a stretch to come up with a screenplay about what we've been living through over the last 24, 48 hours. But we continue to report it. We continue to discuss it because it is absolutely fascinating. Anyway, Boris Johnson, he's not going, is he?
For the moment, no, he's not. But I just find the whole thing shameful. I just feel all the backstabbing, the political maneuvering, all at the expense of us, the consumer, the people, is really disgraceful and inappropriate. The 1922 committee can meet and change the rules and have another vote of no confidence. I do think he'd find it very hard to ignore that. But the idea of 40-odd MPs leaving their posts, abandoning us, the largest block of voters, the consumers, at a time like this, is
particularly in approaching the summer, when it is very difficult to get stuff done. Of course, the machinations of government continue through the civil service, so it's not as if they can't get on with the job of government. It's just that they are rudderless in terms of strategic direction and new policy.
They're not rudderless; they're captainless. They don't have a boss. These are the top people who left, and the civil service mentality is not to stick your head above the parapet too far. Things aren't going to get done. I mean, it's unnecessary. I saw Suella Braverman, for example, on another program last night say that she's come to the Attorney General, that she's come to the conclusion that Boris should leave. She's even announced, quite shockingly, that she is going to run for leader and prime minister. But she said she's not leaving unless Boris asks her to, because as Attorney General, the legal affairs of state of this country need to be attended to. Now, why in the world didn't all of these other people act the same way, honorably, and think about us? We're the ones they're supposed to be serving. For ordinary people like me, who are worried about Tesco not having Heinz baked beans because they won't charge us what Mars insists they charge them, so they stop delivering them, who worry about whether I can take my family out next weekend because petrol is now more than £2 where I usually go. Really don't care much about all this. It's reality TV. It's quite amusing. But this is all within the bubble of Westminster, and it's irritating as hell, James. So it doesn't need to go on.
And all of those things then lead to an exacerbation of financial problems. Mortgage rates arguably going to rise because, as I've discussed in the past, and I'm sure you have as well, the 5p cut in petrol prices that Rishi Sunak launched in his last statement was pathetic. It wasn't even upheld, made no difference. It needed to be more substantial than that. He chose not to do it. That having been said, we are going to see mortgages cost more, aren't we?
Well, this is the other thing. Rather than all of these people play their political games within their bubble, and I think they're probably quite normal people when they get home, but within the Westminster bubble, and I spend a fair bit of time there, I know what it's like and the adrenaline and the rest. It's not reality. What they need to be doing is staying at their desks and enacting legislation right now, tomorrow morning latest, that banks cannot raise the mortgage rates by the large amounts that they are doing. I have had numerous reports over and over since we last spoke, including one yesterday by a fellow Talk TV presenter of yours about his own mortgage, that his rate has doubled. The banks are doubling the mortgage rates for people. Now, how do they get away doing that when the increase was only a tiny percentage of that? It should be made illegal.
And as you say, there's no doubt, as one has...
I'm sorry, they should be passing legislation right now before the recess to stop this. Otherwise, they are going to bankrupt people, and people are going to lose their homes on top of starving.
And this is one of the things where we expect government to intervene. We expect government to take action where necessary. And as a result of dealing with one Boris crisis following another, it means that they're not. And that's where I agree with you that on the financial crisis and on all of these issues, this is the reason that the froth is boiling over. Roger, thank you so much for joining us once again this morning. As ever, I could chat to you all morning, but we must move on. That's Dr. Roger Giewald, the CEO of Fair Money, personal finance and credit expert. Much